Hello and welcome today to the Proving Grounds is hoarded by zombies again as we travel across the country in the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail is a nostalgic trip for anyone who's pretty much in my demographic that grew up in school playing like Apple II computers, because it's very, very high odds you've played the Oregon Trail then, along with Math Munchers and such. But a lot of people always played the Oregon Trail because, well, let's be honest, it had a shooting mini game, so everyone's like, "Ooh, guns, yeah!" But it was a fun little game also of strategically managing your supplies to make it across the country alive. So the Oregon Trail is a zombie version of that game. Everything has been pretty much really lifted from the game. It's it does have its own things too, but the basis of it, the nostalgic connections to it, are very lifted. You have your station wagon, wheels and car parts that act as the wagon parts that would break down, your food supply, your ammo. That's quite literally. And now, being a zombie game, when you scavenge, instead of hunting animals for food, you find food laying about with money and scrap pots, which is very important, especially at a higher difficulty, to try and hoard as much stuff from scavenging when it's safe to, because unlike the Oregon Trail, there are times where there are many zombies. You get a population radius of how many zombies are, and usually low is the best time. Medium you can get away with depending on your skill during the segments, but I would personally avoid high and obviously deadly, because it is very bad. But we be playing a game of mostly managing resources. Unlike Woe to Canada, which I did mention this game in my review, that's more of a brawl game with elements lifted from this concept of managing resources on top of being more of a brawler, where this is more leaning on the resource end with less gameplay. Now, there are three versions of this game. You have the original version, the director's cut version, and the complete edition. Now, the original version is a free game. I've never played it personally. It has a lot of differences compared to the director's cut in the complete edition. Now, the director's cut, as far as I can tell, is only available on Steam now. It used to be you could buy it from the very creator's website and get a free copy of it, but that doesn't appear to no longer exist, and as far as I can tell, I can't really find. Actually, let me check one more place. I forgot to check GOG, of course. I checked Humble Bundle because that was where my copy came from. Let me check GOG real quick while I'm on that. But no, the Oregon Trail is not available on GOG, so no DRM free. So if you want a DRM free, you will have to use other means. If you didn't purchase it prior. Now, the director's cut version, the complete, are more similar to each other. The complete adds more content on top of it. More boss events, more encounters, more world events, newer events on top of what already existed. What I really like the most in the complete edition is in the director's version, you just had one character, one car, and one path. The complete edition, you have different characters, different cars. Then the different cars, unlike the characters are just, just the skin, but the cars actually have different advantages. One's more durable, another maybe faster to travel with. It can be a little more strategic with your different difficulties, so unlocking newer cars is a nice alternative on top of having different pathways. In the Oregon Trail, you had different pathways when crossing the country with your oxen, your wagon. So it was a bit of a shame, in my opinion, back when the director's cut version was released, that it didn't have that option. The complete version adds that in, where there are now branches of selecting town, giving you options, because you get told, like, let's say you're at a branch. So one town has low supplies, but it has this upgrade you might be interested, where the other one might have high supplies, but may not have an upgrade you're as interested in. And then there's the distance and travel. But on top of that, there was a whole new mechanic added in, weighation. So in the story of this game, the United States nuked several parts of the United States. In the original director's cut, you only went around all the weighation. Some of the paths go through the weighation, and most of the weighation paths are faster, but you now suffer weighation. Now, once you get out of a weighted area, you can rest and let it go away, but while you're in a weighted area, when time passes, weighation builds up, and the only way to get rid of weighation when you're in a weighted area is to use a medkit. So you have to balance your strategy on how you're getting through your trip here. Now, you'll make a party. Now, if you played the Oregon Trail, you know, you get a fistful of money and you're told buy your beginning supplies. This, in a similar way, instead of the money, you got time, and you invest that time into your starting supplies before you make your trip across the country to the supposed rumored safe haven of the game. Now, like I said, this is more of a management game, because this is a lot of RNG events that happen in this game, beating you down and shit with minor gameplay. You can take jobs hunting down bandits and such. Many of these are suicidal, though the hidden one job, if it shows up, is a freebie car fix. You just run over zombies and you get your car fixed. But some jobs, you may get lucky of having an easy or medium difficulty one, but a lot of times they are very deadly, so be very cautious when you take jobs. But you'll be doing a lot of scavenging for the most part. A lot, especially if you're on higher difficulties. You want to take advantage of any low zombie amounts, because you won't get a lot of opportunities to scavenge very easily in higher difficulties. Now, added in the complete version on top of that is endless mode, and then there's this kind of silly game where it's more of a strange kind of like car platformer driving through. It's kind of a side joke game that's in the game. But overall, this is an enjoyable game. And plus, it also has an additional ending. I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but there was some odd surprises that can happen when you get to the end of the game, on top of a lot of the additional bosses of having like reindeer and bandits attacking you on the road, the bear attacking you during scavenging, which I believe the wolves were in the director's cut. I can't remember if the bear was in the director's cut, honestly, but there's a lot of new events and stuff. It can be quite bizarre. And of course, like the Oregon Trail, if you die, you can leave a tombstone, write a message, and somebody else can come across it. Now, also, addition to the complete edition is co-op. The director's cut did not have co-op. Now, the co-op is very minor. In most segments, the second player plays as a dog that can collect items for your group, and they can bark to distract zombies away from the main player. There are a few segments where you act as a second gunsman too, so depending on which scenario of gameplay is happening. So it's minor, but it does have co-op, so if you got a second hand, you can get a little aid on, especially like co-op would definitely be recommended for the harder difficulties, for sure. Sadly, there is no normal native online for it, though. So you're going to use share play when it comes to the consoles, and you could use that new thing on Steam that's supposed to allow local players to play over the internet, which I would imagine is pretty similar to share play, I would imagine. Now, for what systems is available, the complete edition is available on PC, phones, PS4, and Vita. The director's cut was PC and phones. Like I said, though, as far as I can tell, you can only get it on Steam, and I'll explain why it's available on Steam still. And DRM-free does not exist currently for the complete version. The directors did have it, but as far as I can see, it doesn't exist as available anymore. It's not even listed on the Humble Bundle store, which is where I got my director's cut from. I could still download mine, so I mean, it exists. It's just not available for purchase anymore. Honestly, though, I played the Director's Cut back when it came out and got the complete version for Limited 1 games for my PS4, and I did enjoy replaying this game and seeing a lot of the new stuff. This is one of those games where you get to replay and just experience a lot of stuff, and it's just added bonuses that you get unlocks in the complete version, which encourages more replay value. Now, if you're interested in, like, achievement type stuff, the Steam version does have a decent amount of stuff to unlock when it comes to that category, but the Vita and PS4 version are non-platinum trophy lists. So, if you're a hunter of that kind of thing, you're not going to get too many on your consoles. Outside of that, my value for the Oregon Trail, the complete version, solid $10 is a fair price in my opinion. It's a fun game with replay value, and if you can get a second body in, you can have some extra laughs and lulls as everyone gets sick and ill as you progress through the game. Now, for some reason you're interested in the Director's Cut version, there's some means that I'm either not aware of, or you're interested in the Steam version, I definitely would have to value it way less now, because, well, the complete version is it and more, So why is it available on Steam? So Steam, for some reason, sells the Director's Cut version and then the expansion, which is the complete edition, separately for $4.99 each. So combined together, you're paying basically the $10 value, essentially. It is on, when it comes to the PSN store, it is $9.99. So the price tag, a little, just, I mean, we're talking pennies, but you know. Yeah, no, that ain't. But I do think it's worth a good $10 though. Now, if you're interested in a physical version, as I mentioned, mine came from Limited 1 games. It is available physically on PS4 and Vita. Now, I would recommend the PS4 version because it's cheaper in the Wii sale. You can find it. There's actually one right now for $29 if you have to get this physically. But the Vita version is pricey, between $50 to $100, with a few listings of it that are on eBay. So, good luck with that if you want the Vita version. But digitally, if you don't mind digital, it's cheap on digital fronts. But I enjoy my physical version. I really enjoyed the game, so I wanted to get this version. And I was surprised by a lot of the additions. They did a lot of nice new additions. Like, for example, adding new zombie types. A quick zombie type, a toxin zombie type, the match with the radiation. There's a nice few surprises, and I wouldn't want to ruin them all. Especially if you actually played the original versions of this game prior to the complete, because they were nice to discover by. But there were new characters to unlock, new vehicles to unlock. I honestly think it's just a fun little experience, especially if you do a little streaming on the side. Either way, those are my thoughts on the Oregon Trail, the Complete Edition. Again, this is the PS4 version, if I forgot to mention that. But I definitely recommend it if you're into this type of game. If you liked it, Death Road to Canada, I would maybe give the game a look. But I can understand that if you didn't have any grown-up nostalgic or memories or experience with the Apple II's Oregon Trail, that this might be a bit harder for you to really try out. But I think it's worth a try. If the kind of gameplay interests you, but only you are the best judge for that. But I think it is a pretty solid game for a little Kickstarter game. It added more as it grew, and, well, as far as I know, this is supposed to be the end of its story. Maybe one day they'll pull it to the Switch or something in the future, but that is where its tail ends. Fun, little, simple Apple II nod. Until next time, if you feel like you learned something good about this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you have too many hats, feel free to leave a dislike guilt-free. Until next time.
どうだった？私の作った朝ごはん。